Well, it's cold, it's windy. I hope you can hear me all right, but we're back in the wood yard here today. We're looking for some 12-foot oak that we can make some lowboy decking out, and we're going to take a walk through here today, and we'll look at some different woods and see if we can identify them. Let's get to her. See what we can find. There's an easy one right there. That's black cherry. It's not hard to tell at all. Oh, a lot of short stuff. That's an easy one too. That's white oak right here. These couple. And the one up there is black walnut. But you could tell by the bark on those real easy. Here's one. This is always hardest when you get logs in. You'll get them with no bark, just a log. I can tell by the way this one is twisting when it's growing that would be sycamore. If we take a little end cut off of it, we'd know for sure, but pretty good chance that's sycamore. And that won't work for us. Let's see what else we got here. That one's been dead too long. This is actually a piece of red oak. This will make a saw log. We can cut this down to about 8 foot and still get some nice lumber out of it. That's red oak up top here. Not the right length though. That's a pile of black walnut. Black walnut's not hard to identify in the yard here. Basically, all you got to do is come around the end of it. You'll see the bark is real coarse, and naturally, it's about the darkest wood that grows. So you know that's black walnut. We're not looking for that today, though. Here's a good one here, a good example. It's sycamore. Grows big, grow next to the creek or some water source. They cut it. It's not a real desirable wood. They will make some things out of it. I've seen where they were making painted trim and what have you out of sycamore. You can tap that tree though for syrup. Just like you make maple syrup, you can use sycamore. And it'll taste like butterscotch. But it takes about 80 or 90 gallon, I think, to make a gallon of syrup. Or sugar maple takes about 50. Let's see what else we got here. Oh, a little bit of everything. This piece of white oak. Piece of red oak up on top. Let's see what's back here. We got hard maple, most of this pile is. There's a piece of oak on top, but this would be hard maple. It'd be referred to sometimes as sugar maple too, and that's where you get your maple syrup from. It's a hardwood. Basketball court be made out of it, a bowling alley, a roller skating ring, a folding roll. Baseball bats now because it's hard to get the ash anymore. These are all too short. Bits and pieces. I explained to before on the video, everything comes in and then we got to look through it. There's all oak here. There's a piece of red oak right here. What else we got back here? Let's see. Here's an easy one to identify too. This is just a piece of one, but that would be beech. And it's cut, they use it for barrel stock, beech. It grows big. It's a hardwood. You'll see when you go for furniture, sometimes it will say oak finish, and it'll actually be made of beech and just stained oak. But that's a piece of beech there. Oh, we got some big uglies over here. Nothing's going to make that 12-foot length. There's a piece of cherry. Like I said, it's pretty easy to identify. The wind's really picked up. Let's see what we got here. Here's one that's pretty common. That'd be locust. Don't saw it into lumber much, but it is a, you can use it for decking. They used to use it on wooden covered bridges. They used to use that for the decking. And still make decking. Or if you're putting fence posts in, most people don't use them anymore, but you split that out into maybe four fence posts and pull the bark off of it. And then they'd take and lay the ends in the fire till it got charred up. Once it got charred up, they'd put it in the ground a couple feet. Here's that ugly piece of Bing cherry. I call it Bing full fire cherry. We've been talking about that for a while, what to call it, but fire cherry is pretty much what they call it around here. What else we got here? Let's see. Another piece of cherry up there. Remember on the one video I was talking about red rot? Well, there's a good example of it. Starts in the middle of the tree. Just turns to punk and it's red, so they call it red rot. That's what kills most cherry unless the wind blow it down. You don't know that though when you're looking at standing timber. And if you get a cherry tree, the one beside it will have it too. Seems to be. It spreads throughout the cherry. There's a piece of maple. As you can see, a lot of this would just be busted up into firewood. Oh, the short piece of black walnut. They might cut it on a band mill. And some softwoods back here. There's some spruce. Spruce pine. This is pretty much all spruce over here. One piece of cherry up on the top. Sometimes there's a piece of white pine there. Some of it you get so many knots in it, you got more knots than you want in a board. Let's see what's through here. There's something right here. That'd be pin oak. And there's no way I'd ever put that on the mill. That's about ugly. We got one here. This was a nice log, a nice piece of oak, but you see down in through the middle of it, it's not gonna be any good for the saw. Bunch of firewood. All this will get picked through though. There's a lot of this short stuff here that when somebody needs horse stalls, they'll usually use 6-footers. And you can put them up on the mill, not much shorter than that. 6 foot, anything shorter than that doesn't work well on the mill, but you can make stall boards out of a lot of it. But you get a piece like this one here, this piece of oak, it's, oh, it might not even be, but probably close to 4 feet. A little over 4 feet. Same with that one back there. That's pretty much firewood. Ain't nobody knocking the door down to get a 4-foot piece of oak. This tree right here, this came in. This was a yard tree. It'll have a lot of burrow in it. I'm not sure exactly what this one is. When you're looking for character in a wood, once the bark's off, you'll see these like little mountains. And that's a good sign that you'll have character to that wood. I'll research this one a little bit more here and figure out what it is. It's probably a planet tree. We call them yard trees. It's the kind you get down the nursery and you might get a tree that's, oh, from Japan. I don't know. I mean, they plant them, but I'm not seeing what I need here. There's top off of a big white oak. It's pretty ugly. Now them people with the band mills, they kind of like that. They say they'll get that up there and saw through it. But on a circular mill, that's a real hard thing to saw. Not only very big, it's not very straight, and it has a lot of knots. There's what I was just talking about. You see the imperfections in this. There's a good chance when you sliced into a log like that, that you'll have imperfections. These probably turn into what they call bird's eye. If you get a piece of maple like that, fiddleback maple or tiger maple, we're probably going to have to look around and get to digging in some of these piles. The only problem is when somebody wants 12-foot board, 11 foot's not going to work for them. This just came in. This is beech, cut dead. Looks like it's been cut for a long time. Beech make firewood though. Let me see what's over here. As you can see, we've got a little bit of mud, but mud don't. Somebody made a comment about waiting for it to freeze, and answering one of my comments. And if we waited for it to freeze, or the mud to go away, it'd be spring. Now, there's no mill shuts down for mud. The only thing that's shut down for mud is when you're bringing them out of the woods. You just can't get the traction to get them out. No, this pile here is all pretty much firewood. I got a piece of white oak here. That's pretty much all firewood there. Well, I don't know if we're going to find what we need. We may be able to substitute that oak. I do have some pig hickory. We did some video on that. This pig hickory is well over 12 foot. It's probably closer to 13 or 14 feet. It's a pretty good sized log. But a lot of times, you know, when people want oak or they want a certain species of tree, they don't want another. Well, it was just a little walk there I took you on. When we get new trees in, there's something different, I'll come back here on the video and we'll look into it. This is a big old tree right there. Too big for our mill. Well, I appreciate you joining me on the walk there, and if you like the video, give it a thumbs up, and if you haven't subscribed, do so. I do appreciate that. Word of the day. Now, my friend John Clark, which is frickin' Jeep, he had sent me a comment there that he thought that imagine would be a good word. And I had to think about it for a minute, and I thought to myself, when we're younger, we have a good imagination, and that's what causes a child to play, is their imagination, and they can have imagination friends and what have you. But we kind of lose it a little bit when we get older. But it's always there. It's always there. I think if you can imagine something, you can probably do it. Go over and watch John's channel. You'll see what I mean. Hey, I appreciate you coming along, and I'll see you on the next one, and I thank you.